guys, welcome back to our channel. So today I thought it would be a great time coming around to Wolf's first birthday to do my labour story. I do get a lot of people asking me how my labour went, so I'll try and keep it short and sweet. So don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here. Yeah, you tell them, like this video and subscribe to our channel, hey! Alright, let's just jump straight into it, guys. So it starts on June the 8th around 5:30 p.m. 2016. I'm laying down watching some Prison Break in the lounge room on a mattress, and then all of a sudden I'm just laying there and I feel like I wet myself, and I kind of just laid there like, did I just like pee myself? And Will was laying behind me on the couch. So I laid there for a bit and I was like, okay, it's not stopping. And I said to Will, I got up and I was like, I think my water just broke. And he's like, what? So I stood up and he's like, oh, your pants are all wet. I'm like, my water just broke. And I ran upstairs and yeah, I ran upstairs and sure enough, my water had broken. So I always knew that when my water was to break, I had to put a pad on and call at the hospital. So I did that, and then the midwife told me to come in to have a test just to make sure that it was my water that broke. She asked me if my contractions had started, which they hadn't at this point. I was in no pain at all. So we drove to the hospital and then, excuse me, we drove to the hospital and we were there for probably half an hour-ish, and they just tested it was my water that broke, did a few other tests and made sure I wasn't having any contractions. And then they told me I could either, excuse me, I could either stay in the hospital and wait for my contractions to start, or I could just go home. So we decided we'd go home. I didn't want to be induced or anything either. We lived 10 minutes away from the hospital that I gave birth in. So we're on our way home and I said to Will, I think that my contractions are starting. So we started timing them, and by the time I got home I'd had 2 contractions 4 minutes apart. And they did tell me to come back to the hospital when my contractions were 2 minutes apart. So by the time I got home, got settled, we had some dinner and we were playing cards, and then my sister came over, Will's 2 sisters came over as well. Just basically waiting for my contractions to get stronger. So I just remember we were sitting at the dining table, me and Will were playing cards just to pass some time. And he was getting angry at me because I wasn't playing as quick as I usually would. And he's like, come on, it's your turn. And I was like, I am in the middle of having a contraction, you can wait. And like, it's like he forgot that I was like in labour. So that was quite funny. And then I decided my contractions were getting a little bit stronger. So I went up into the shower, and I was probably in our shower for half an hour. Just trying to breathe through the contractions. And at this point they were probably 2.5 minutes apart, and then they started getting really strong. So we decided we'd get all our stuff together and head back up to the hospital. Anyway, everyone gets in the car, we all drive up, and by the time I get there, I am just in so much pain, and like I was walking around the hospital holding onto the railings, having contractions. At this point it was probably like 10 o'clock at night. So quite a while later, they didn't start for quite a few hours later. And yeah, so we're walking around the hospital. You just like being the centre of attention. And Will is with me holding my hand. And eventually we get called into our room and they measure all the contractions, all of that. Everything's going well. He's really down low and ready to come out. Oh, watch out. So then we get moved to our birthing suite, and I gave birth in the Gold Coast University Hospital, and it is freaking huge. I didn't have one of those birthing suites that you could, excuse me, I'm trying to, yeah, I didn't have an actual birthing suite that you have to be on a waiting list for, but like, at Gold Coast University, you do not need one of them. Like, the rooms are huge. I had a bath, a massive shower. Come. So anyway, it gets to about 11 and I went into active labour, and I was in the shower for probably the whole 2.5 hours. And like I remember feeling the need to push, and I was like I just said to the nurse, I was like, I need a push, like I need a push. And she's like, no, you're not ready yet. I'll tell you when you're ready to push. And in my head I was just like, bitch, I am ready to push. So I started leaning over. The like position that helped me the most with pain relief was I was leaning over holding onto the rail, and I would swing my hips from side to side. And it was kind of like, I didn't learn that. It was just an instinct that I had to do that to get through the pain. So I would just shake from side to side, and my sister had the shower head on my back the whole time, and Will was holding my hand. And the whole time Will was amazing. He did not freak out at all. He was giving me like all of this encouragement to keep going, don't give up. And the funny thing was is you can feel your contractions coming. So in between contractions we would laugh and have a joke, and everything would be normal. And then when I could feel them coming, I would say to Will, oh my god, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Like, I could feel them coming, and he would hold my hands, and then we'd go through another contraction. And I knew beforehand, after all my antenatal classes, that I had to breathe. Like, deep breathing gets you through it, and it honestly does. I did not have any drugs whatsoever, and I think partially was because it happened so quick. I didn't even think about taking anything, an epidural or gas or anything. And I just did it naturally, and just that breathing really got me through it, and the mindset that I was in really got me through all the pain and contractions. And your body kind of admits its own drug. Like, I can't even remember, I didn't take anything, and I can't even remember, like, parts of this are really blurry, and I'm just kind of going by things that I remember and that people have told me. And I'm obviously giving you the quickest way that I could tell you about my labour, because I don't want to be here all bloody day. Like, it is the most amazing thing I've ever experienced, and I cannot wait to do it all again. I know it's probably going to be a lot different for my second, but I love, even when I was pregnant, people would ask me if I was scared, and I would always say, I can't wait to know what my story is. Like, I have heard all these stories about ladies giving birth, but I cannot wait for my turn, like, to tell my story and what my experience was like, because it's not all bad. Not everyone has a bad labour. Like, mine was amazing. Everything went to plan. Like, it was just so smoothly running. It got to about 12 o'clock, and I remember looking at the clock, and this was, so 12 o'clock on the 9th of June in the morning, and I was just like, oh, I just want to give up. And I remember in my antenatal classes, there was the midwife that was taking it. She told our whole class, when you get to that point where you don't feel like you can go anymore, that's when you're almost there. Like, you are so close to meeting your baby when you get to that point. I was laying on my back on the bed because I had to go from the shower when I felt like I needed to push. I went straight to the bed, and they checked me, and they said, yes, you're ready, 10 centimeters. Yeah, you're ready to go. So, and I'll just add in, by the time I got from home to the hospital, I was already 4 centimeters dilated. So I dilated so quickly, probably in like an hour or so, I was halfway there, pretty much halfway there. Yeah, so I remember looking over at the clock, and I felt like I had been in that shower for so long. And by the time I was ready to push, it was probably about 1:30 in the morning on the 9th of June. Yeah, so at this point I went from the shower onto the bed, and I gave birth laying down on my back with my legs up. I remember looking at the clock, and it was 1:30, and the ladies, like the nurses and everything, said to me, when you're ready and your next contraction comes, push as hard as you can. And I think I did that for about 15 minutes. And then the midwife said to me, if you reach your hand down, if you reach your hand down, you'll be able to feel his head. And that like really freaked me out. I was like to Will, no, I don't want to feel it. Like, I'll wait till he comes out. And then she grabbed my hand and like forced me, and it freaked me the hell out. I was just like, oh my god, his head like was out. It was just crazy. Like, I'll never forget that. So I pushed for about 15 minutes, and then he was born. He didn't cry when he was born. He pretty much was like If anyone knows Wolf, he's real nosy. He is such a nosy baby. He's got to know everything and everyone around him, anything. Don't you? Yes. So he came out and he was just looking around like wide-eyed at everyone like, whoa. So he didn't cry or anything. I got really emotional and yeah, they put him straight on my chest and he was just so tiny. So he was born at 1:58 a.m. on the 9th of June 2016, weighed 6 pounds 10. So he was a tiny baby and he wasn't tiny, he was a very small compared to a lot of people that I know.
I'm not sure I understand.
He loves playing with Siri. And I think he was only 48 centimeters long. So when he was born, he didn't even fit into preemie clothes. Like we had to go shop, like the clothes that we took to the hospital with us in our hospital bag didn't fit him. So Will had to go out and buy clothes for him to get changed into the hospital before we went home. Overall, the only thing that went wrong was I had a small graze, which is a tear. They go from like a graze to a tear, as I've probably said in another video. But I had a small graze, so I had a couple of stitches and they healed super quickly. So I was up to being myself and running around, everything, looking after him after about 2 weeks. But the first 2 weeks were really painful and I couldn't really do much, and Will did help me a lot. He helped me even get in and out of the car. Like, it was crazy. I couldn't move unless I had an ice pack. Yeah, it does sound gross. They give you ice packs to put in your undies, but it honestly makes the stitches or anything, a tear, just feel 100 times better. Like, I felt like when I had an ice pack, I could go and do hurdles. Like, but the minute that ice pack went hot, nah, that was it. I would always tell Will, go and get me another ice pack. I need more ice packs. After I gave birth, we obviously decided on a name. So I looked at him and I knew straight away that I wanted his name to be Wolf. And all through my pregnancy, I hated the name. I told Will loved it, and he was the one who said, why don't we name him this? And I just said, no, I hate it. And I hated it the whole time until I met him, and I just looked at Will and I was like, oh my God, he's such a wolf. Like, the people that were with me when I gave birth were Will, my younger sister Jenna, his younger sister Serafina, his older sister Latoya, and his mum. So I had a lot of people in that room with me, and they probably, my younger sister is scared for life. She will probably never have children. But yeah, in the beginning, all I wanted was my mum and Will in the room with me, but unfortunately my mum and dad were overseas at the time. I didn't have any drugs, and I thought that I'd be like, give me that epidural straight away, but I think it just happened so quickly I didn't really bother with it. I can't explain the feeling of relief when you meet your baby. Like, I instantly forgot about all the pain that I'd just gone through, and I just couldn't stop staring at him. Like, he was just so perfect. After giving birth, no matter if it's C-section or naturally, you feel like you could conquer the freaking world. Like, I felt like I could do anything. He was put straight on my chest and we were bonding and had all that, and then once everyone left the room, we named him. And then I went for a shower and I just remember I was bleeding like crazy. Like, I've never, like, I was like, oh my God. So I bled a lot afterwards, as you do. So I went for a shower and I remember I just remember coming out of that shower and looking over and seeing Will and Wolf sitting on the chair, and Will was just holding him. Oh, it brings back so many memories. But yeah, and now look at you, you're so big! You're so big! If anyone has any questions or I've missed out anything, I'm sure I have, you can send me questions on my Instagram or my Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now I've got this crazy almost 1-year-old, and time has just gone so quickly. But until next time, I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!